Have you ever heard of iHeartradio? Have you ever tried to be on there?
Yeah. Well, sure. iHeartradio to me is the greatest of all obscenities. And here's why I think it's an obscenity. iHeartradio, and by the way, Clear Channel is losing their ass. They can't make $1 billion a year interest payment on their $20 billion.
I know all about it. I know all about it, yes.
Okay. Now, iHeartradio takes, let's just say you and I work for a radio station in Dallas. And iHeartradio, and let's say it's a Clear Channel station, and say, okay, Debbie and Phil, we're going to put you on iHeartradio. Isn't that just great? Now you're going to be heard all over the world. Thank you. How much more money are we going to get now that we're playing to a larger audience? Not another nickel.
Thank you.
So you and I are getting, yeah. So we're getting fucked by these guys think they're doing me a favor? They're not doing us a favor. We're working for a bigger audience, not getting any more money. Of my mental
giantness,
incapacity.
Mental incapacity.
Well, look, let me say this. I mean, it's never going to happen because radio is completely different from television and film. We're never going to unionize and get together the way film actors did or the way TV actors.
We all hate each other.
Radio hosts are. Well, we all hate each other, but more to the point, we're really, really gypsies. I mean, we are far more gypsy-like and far more sort of lone wolf and, just we're insane, So we don't get together that way. The only time we get together is to get drunk, to smoke tons of dope, to party at a convention or some shit, but we're not, the thing is, the strength is what you just said, Debbie. It's the individual entrepreneurial broadcast talent taking his act and pushing it out there, man. I talked with a bunch of young broadcasters when I was in Atlanta for Don Anthony's morning show boot camp, and I was talking to these young guys, and all of them were saying the same thing that you're saying, and I said, right on. They were saying, man, I'm out. I'm humping my own advertising for my website. I'm trying to get ownership of my material, which you'll notice a lot of these companies now are not really, they're suddenly going, oh, wow, this shit's worth something, so we don't want to let you have rights to your own material. I would definitely, fight to the death for your material. And just write these people off, man. And that's what I said to a bunch of people when we were in Los Angeles.
I forgot to tell you another little secret about iHeartRadio is when you go to iHeartRadio and sign on the dotted line, you cannot RSS anywhere else, period. You cannot send an RSS feed to iTunes. You can't send anywhere. Anywhere. They take your rights.
What are you talking about? When you're signing on the dotted line, as what? As a talent or as a consumer? What do you mean?
No, signing up to be on iHeartRadio.
To be a talent?
Yes, to be a show on iHeartRadio. To be one of the shows on there. When you agree.
Oh, shit.
No, I swear to God, I'm not lying. Yeah. They own your content basically, and what I found deplorable is that they take away the right to have the RSS feed, which to me is more valuable than being on iHeartRadio anyway. Yeah. I mean, iHeartRadio to me is about music. No, don't. That's what I was saying tonight.
Yeah, and, don't do it, because right now, Debbie Daly can, just like Phil Hendrie, put a Debbie Daly app on a smartphone, and you have your own platform, you own your content, and you're heard all over the goddamn world the same way as any poor schmuck on iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio is a big, iHeartRadio is like, a large health exchange for talent. I don't mean to badmouth, the President Obama's thing because I happen to support it, but nonetheless, it's like this large clearinghouse, a large warehouse of talent. You don't need that. You can do it yourself, see? Just like when I was talking to my partner today, Ron Hartenbaum. Ron says, hey, man, have you heard about Progressive Voices? I go, what's that? He goes, well, it's an app, and you buy it or whatever, and it has all the progressive people. It has Randy Rhodes, it has Stephanie Miller, it has Mike Malloy. And I go, well, that's fine, but that's not good for me because I don't do that. I do like a comedy show. What do I do? And that's when we started talking, well, just get your own goddamn app. You could do... We could, if we wanted to, you could say Phil Hendrie and Debbie Daly. You got like a half a dozen talents, you, me, Liz, and whoever we want, and we create an app around 6 or 7 people, and we call it the goddamn greatest radio talent in the history of the world.
Yeah, fuck you, radio. No, I'm joking.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
That's the fuck you radio app. I love it.
Because that's all I do is just crazy bullshit too. I mean, I have a character named Fufu Latouche. I mean, I have all this bullshit. You know, she's nuts. She's in the Columbia. She's in the Columbia Mafia, and she's always going to kill my listeners and shit. She's like, we have boys down here, and I've always admired what you do. I think it's in her.
Well, see, what are we doing? So what are we talking about? We're talking about being entertainers is what we're talking about. Thank you. I mean, isn't that what it is?
I mean, I understand that there's a place for that, but by the time it's 10 o'clock at night or whenever I come on, it's time to just do something fun, and act stupid for a while.
Right. Well, see, I don't really like the term theater of the mind, although what you're saying is true. It is theater. I don't like the term because I think it's a little antiquated. I think we've used it so much it's lost its meaning. I think what we are is we're entertaining, we're funny, we're just we're just good, man. It's personality talk. It's whatever. It's not hot talk, not bullshit. We're not. It's just talking about your life. It's like the Loop in Chicago used to be. So
exactly.
You can put all of that on. You know what I'm saying? You could put all of that into one app. You could call that you could call it anything you want. What I'm basically saying is you can do anything you want and reach the audience that you want by way of another platform called the smartphone. We don't need radios anymore.
I'm sitting here holding. I'm holding mine right now in my hand. I think everybody in the world has one. I mean, everybody in my whole house has one. And yes, we want everything to frickin'. But it's like a little computer that we carry around. We have our headset, and when you're on the bus or wherever, flip it on and press that app, and you can pick from either, like you said, a variety. I mean, what the heck? Are you kidding me?
Absolute convenience.
Yeah. It's totally convenient. And you're right. I was saying today, I go, that there's two things in this world now I don't want to lose. There used to be just one, my wallet. If I lost my wallet, I'm fucked. Now, if I lose my phone and my wallet, I'm fucked. I actually got, my phone is, I left my phone in a car the other night, and the guy brought it back, thank God. But for that 45 minutes that I didn't have my phone, I was like, where the fuck am I going to go? How am I going to look shit up? How am I going to do anything?
You can do anything. We sit in text message each other in the house. I'll send my daughter a text message three doors down the fucking hallway. Are you kidding me? And she'll send me videos. Look what the baby's doing, Mom. And she'll send me a video from the nursery over to my, it's just, but no, I know what you're saying. And that's all well and good because
it's like when we were, if you had a favorite radio station, well, now it's just pick up your phone. Oh, I got this app the other day. What is it? It's the Debi Daly app. She's got herself. She's got Phil Hendrie. She's got Liz Wild. She's got, I'm not suggesting we do this, but I'm saying these are the possibilities. And, I love that because it's just all the best kind of fucking radio that I like. It's funnier than shit. I don't have to listen to Obama bashing. I can just, have a ball, man. And it's all live, or I can listen to it on demand. And you can do that. All you got to do is find a developer to do the app.
Got it.
That's it.
And he was saying the same thing as you're saying about the app. Yeah. And he put an app on his. Yeah. He had his wife make an app, and he goes, "If you want an app, Debbie, I'm offering it to you." He goes, "I'll even make a deal with you or something, work it out with you." But he said basically it's about $1,000, and I'm thinking that's it. And so I went and got his.
Really?
Yes. And he's at the iStore.
You got to be careful though. You don't want the virus. You want to get an app that's not going to be getting viruses.
Yeah, you want to go through Apple. You want to go through the Apple people. Yeah, probably.
But you want to go through Apple. Now, my problem with Apple is if I have a premium site, I don't want to have an app that makes my website accessible. That I can do. And that's fine. What I want to do, and what I suggest that as radio talent we think about, I've got a website, and that's fine, and I can do an app that gives people direct access to the website. Whoopie-doo. But I want people to be able to hit that app and listen to my show when they want to listen to the show.
Bingo. And that's what you can do. That's what you can do, and that is how. And then but now, do they pay to get the app? And no, they don't pay to get the app, right? Is the app?
No.
Okay.
I would offer personally. I would offer it for free. I would offer it for free.
Me too. I would have it in the App Store. You would just do a search, and you would have the name of it. Whatever the name would be.
It depends on what your model. It depends on what your it depends on how you want to monetize. I have a website that's a premium site, so I'm making my money off my website already, and I don't really need to charge for an app. If I think free is always good. Let's put it that way. If you want to charge a couple of bucks for your app, I suppose you can. I think free is better, and you make your money however you're going to make your money. Advertising, great.
Exactly.
You want to do some premium stuff, however you want to do it. But I think free is always good. The good apps are free. Think about it, man.
Absolutely. I would be free. I wouldn't pay for an app. I would be a free app. Now, there's some apps that I pay $1.99 for, but that's always kind of just a bullshit deal. But no, it would be free. Yeah. And it would be, but I do think that I think you hit on something with collecting about maybe 4, maybe 5 good, fun, quality shows that are on there that are not tied down under contract to anybody else or any. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
You can do that. Yeah, you can do. Just like I said, I was talking to Ron today. This dude's got progressive voices. Now, I don't know who this guy is, whether Mike and Tom and the rest of those guys signed a deal with this guy. I imagine they did. I wouldn't want some guy just, grabbing my show and throwing it on an app and making money with it. But he's got this thing called progressive voices, and it's the progressive, people. Okay, that's great. So you sort of take your cue from something like that. If you want to, it's like a little mini radio station with, or a little mini network with these people. So what is the Debi Daly, channel, if you want to call it that? It's like programming a channel, man.
Exactly. But
we need your rottenness in this world. So I agree with you. There is something to be said for, that the formatics in terms. I'm not a big block programming. I'm not into. Here's a fucking psychology show, and now here comes the comedy. I think that radio still works best when everybody is sort of going in the same direction.
Bingo.
On the station.
Same page. You're on the same page.
Yeah,
great minds think alike, as they say. So, are you live right now, Debbie? Are we live right now?
Should I disconnect?
What would be the ideal time of day? What would be the ideal time of day for your show right now? Is this a good time for you?
No, it's not. It's a little bit late for me, but I usually do. I usually do. No, I mean it's not late for me. Well, it's 3:00 in the morning where we're at. But me and Steve don't. Right. Me and Steve never sleep. I never sleep anymore. Exactly. and I was posting on your Facebook today and I did read an article recently that did say that if you lose sleep so many times that your body begins to actually not need sleep, and because sometimes when I try to catch up on my sleep, I feel like shit. I'm like, God, I'm sleeping too much. But anyway, I got off the point. But my ideal time would be.
I've gotten to the point.
Go ahead.
I've gotten to the point where I can go a whole day without sleep. If I haven't slept, I can gear myself up to work the day without the sleep.
Exactly.
But I've got my life down now where nobody fucks with me at all. Nobody comes around me at all. In other words, I have my life down where,
we see people by personality. The way you treat me is the way you're going to get me. If you treat me like shit, then you're going to get treated like shit.
You see color.
Respect is earned.
I see color. I see color. I mean, how can you not see color? But I think just because you see color doesn't mean you have to see bad.
Right.
We're obviously we've got different colors. We wear different clothes. We wear different. It doesn't necessarily mean bad.
So you don't preset a color to a personality. Is what I'm going.
Well, you're one of my non-adopted children's playing in the NFL right now. Yeah, so there you go.
How about that?
Yeah, that's big, I think. But he's big time.
I love that. Yeah.
He is. Who's that? Jamarcus Webb.
Who is it?
Jamarcus Webb. Jamarcus Webb, and he calls me Mama, and he calls me all the time, and he's a mess pot, and he got knocked off the Chicago Bears though for smoking marijuana, and now he is with the Vikings. He's with the Minnesota Vikings now, freezing his ass off, but he loves it more than anything. So he's glad he's off the Bears.
Phil, you did radio in Chicago, correct?
No, I didn't do any in Chicago. I might have been. No, I was around locally in Chicago.
Okay,
but I did.
I wanted to ask you. Go ahead.
Miami.
Twin
Cities, Atlanta, Los Angeles, San Diego. Those are the markets I was in locally.
Yeah, you worked your way up. You worked your way up. You had to really scratch. You did a lot of work to get to where you're at.
Oh, he's just good.
Well, I started in radio long before there was ever anything like podcasting. It was all, it was just a bunch of radio stations.
Exactly.
And I also started in the business when they were beginning to cut back on personality, and it was all becoming formatted and quite stilted and boring.
Mm-hmm.
And
thank you.
I had to really, I didn't really get into personality driven. I didn't really bust it open as a personality until I began in talk radio in 1990. And that's when, I felt like I had the opportunity because we weren't playing any records. You had to fill up the time with you. And, radio is something they will try to control it regardless. So, as I got into radio and I just began doing all this crazy shit, they fell in love with conservatives talk radio, and so Rush came along and 50 different versions of him until they finally distilled the format. And what I did, which is personality talk or humor or satire, there was just no room for it, and I toyed with the
but
idea
you made the goddamn room for it. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. And I do what you do. I've always done that because I know that Bobby Daly, you've quoted before that Bobby is an offshoot of your own mother. I've heard that before. And my main character, who is Fufu Latouche, she's in the Colombian mafia. She's actually a girlfriend of mine. And I've told people before, if you're going to do an impersonation, you need to pull off of somebody that you know or that you knew, so that you're really, that they really come through you that way. The actual personality comes through you. And, I pull mine off just flawlessly. And of course, Bobby Daly is a goddess.
There's a difference between doing an impersonation and doing a character. I don't do impersonations. I do characters.
That's what I do.
That's called, for want of a better term, guess what we do? It's called acting.
Really?
That's what it is. Okay. Maybe in the world of radio, they probably radio gets rather embarrassed if you get too artsy fartsy because they like to think that they're just whatever they are. But what we do is we act. So we put ourselves into character. And it just so happens that we play a lot of different characters in the course of a radio show because we're putting on a 3-hour play in a lot of ways, But exactly. A character, just as you said, Debbie, a character is someone that's real. You develop a bio for them. You may not bring any of that to the air, but you have a biography in mind. You know where they were born. You know how old they are. You know sort of what they look like. You know what their mothers were like.
Exactly.
What their fathers were like. Yeah, that's a natural offshoot of breathing life into a character. And remember what Stephen King said. Characters do not follow story. Story follows characters. So I don't know how you do when you prep, but I find if I have a character in mind before I start my show, I automatically sort of have an idea of what I want that character to do. But I started with the character. I started with that person.
Exactly what
and then
I
I had him thinking, oh, wow, how would he, what's he going to do today, and that kind of thing.
See, Steve, all this time I've been telling you fucks this, and see, I'm right. I told y'all I'm right.
I've never doubted you, Debbie. Never doubted you.
Fufu Latouche is Erica. She used to call me and she go, Debbie, do you want to go shopping today? And I don't know why you do this. That's Fufu. That's the way Fufu talks. Yeah. And she fights with her sister. She fights with her sister. She says she's going to cut her, and she's always screaming. It's crazy what she does. And she goes, all of you listeners out there that are being mean to Daly Debbie, she calls me Daly Debbie. And but that's a character that I do that came from somebody in my life. And then I also do Carol from Blog Talk Radio, who's a fucking bitch. She's the assistant to Alan Levy, and she's always saying, she'll say, she acts like she doesn't know she's on the air, and she'll say, leave my office, please. And then she'll go, oh, hi, Mr. Levy. Okay, lunch. And then to the golf course. Got it. And then to the bank. And then just Alan Levy loves Carol from Blog Talk Radio. And Carol was one of my husband's ex-girlfriends. She was an absolute bitch. And so, yeah, I know that I love the general. My husband loves the general for some reason. I mean, He always noticed.
Yeah, I just brought him. I brought the general in because I needed another voice sort of in the room. I needed one more. I just felt like I needed one more voice to balance it. But
Steve is brilliant. Steve, I know Steve. I can see Steve. Bob, and I know Bobby. It's so bizarre, Mr. Henry, but I feel like I know her, and I know that everything about her, like the sailor suits. I mean, where do you?
The sailor suits. Well, that's the strength of any character. You got to feel like you know them, and that's why we love these characters, whoever they are, whether they're in movies or television or radio. We love a character because we recognize them and we know them. You know, we don't love characters that we don't recognize. We love characters that we do. And although, like for instance, Frankenstein, as it was performed by Boris Karloff, that character was brilliant because he brought pathos to that creation. And the thing I remember about Boris Karloff's Frankenstein was the way that he cried and the way he crushed the flower and the way he wanted friends and
yes. He was a real soft, and he loved the music and the little girl at the well, and he wanted to. Right. Exactly. You're
so much more than just a voice. There's an actual story.
I have found my fucking hive, whatever you do. It's bizarre. Exactly. It's bizarre, isn't it, Steve?
Absolutely amazing.